Hello. Today I am so excited to welcome Lia Bliss to the podcast. Lia is a LinkedIn strategist, a speaker, and the founder of Bliss Magic Consulting. And she helps leaders and entrepreneurs use LinkedIn to build real relationships, meaningful visibility, and lasting credibility without losing who they are. And I'll be honest, it was so interesting. I didn't think LinkedIn was for me at all. I had my own stories in my head, definitely my own resistance, and almost didn't even stay in the room when I heard that she was going to be speaking about her topic, because I was like, that doesn't even apply to me. But for me, something shifted that day. I had an inner desire in 2025 to be in the room and to make sure I'm capturing something from someone that could help me in my future. And I'm so glad I stayed in the room, because for me personally, every myth I had, it was gently dismantled. I walked away with not just clarity, but also connection and confidence and a new friend. And I'm so grateful to share Lia and her perspective with you today. So I want you guys to do me a favor. I want you to lean in. I want you to listen closely, because this conversation with Lia may completely change how you see new friendships, for one, LinkedIn, definitely, and how you can see yourself just showing up there on that platform. So I want to welcome to the set my new friend and LinkedIn expert and coach, Lia Bliss. Lia!
Woo!
Hey, girl, hey.
It's so funny that you say that I gently dismantled your beliefs, because like 90% of the time that I give LinkedIn presentations, people are like, you shattered my thoughts. And they use like really aggressive terminology, because my presentations really do like blow people's minds. I've had people gasp in the audience before. So it's just funny to me that you were like, a gentle dismantling.
Well, you know where I'm from. After you and I have been working the last 90 days together on life, language, business, and LinkedIn. That just comes from me coaching myself to think differently and not be so abrupt, I guess.
Not so aggressive.
Not so aggressive.
I mean, I like the aggression. I'm aggressively here to tell you that LinkedIn is great. But it also makes me laugh that you were like, I almost left. Like,
oh, girl, you know what, to be honest with you, and this is one thing I actually totally appreciate about you. And when you come to an event, we were at a mastermind, right, with Healing at the time in California about 5 months ago. What I absolutely appreciate about you, Lia, is you stay in the room. You were a student the whole time. You were learning, you were taking notes. I actually had the privilege to have dinner with you that night, and I liked you as a human. I was like,
as a human.
Yeah, I love this girl. And then I saw what you were talking about, and I was like, Legion and LinkedIn, like that's yes, I am older than you, but I am not old. It's like for sale, you're trying to sell something, you're trying to like just talk about yourself. You're old, you're executive, you're CEO, which we're going to talk all about today. But I was like, why would I listen? But I stayed because I appreciated the fact that I'm like, this girl's like sitting here learning. She's a student. Okay, if she's doing that and she's a keynote speaker for 3 hours, I have something to learn. And that's why.
Also, 3 hours was a lot.
But no, it was seamless, and I learned so much. And those are the things we're going to talk about today. But and one of the things, another thing I appreciate about you so much is, business consulting with you over the last 3 months. The way that you are able to pull stuff out of people, it's really cool. And I've been doing this now for like 15 years, the self-developing, but you know what? It's funny because it's almost like a catered way to self-develop in your business too, which is super cool, which I know we're going to dive into. So listeners, stay in the game, because you should be on LinkedIn, and that's all I'm going to say. I have a question for you. How in the heck did you even get into this, like LinkedIn strategist?
Right. It's like a made up job. I remember there's like a book or a podcast or something that's like fake jobs. And I feel like my job is fake. Like, I'm a globally recognized LinkedIn expert. Like, okay. So I've always been into personal development, and I've always been big into goals and setting goals and trying to achieve goals. And when I graduated from high school, I had this life vision. I was like, I'm going to, because I grew up in a super teeny cow town in the middle of nowhere in Utah. And I had this vision of my life that I was going to work in high fashion. I wanted to do like fashion editorials. And I had this totally clear picture of me. dressed in all black, like very Devil Wears Prada, dressed in all black, Starbucks in hand, walking my happy ass over to whatever like cute high-end retail store I was going to work in. And I was going to work in high-end fashion. Well, I accomplished that by the time I was like 23 and worked in fashion, did really well. I really enjoyed it. But then I found myself as a single mom, tried out a bunch of different professions. My friends joke, like, if I had to put every job I've ever had on a business card, it would be completely illegible because there's so many random ones. But then during COVID, I was able to take the opportunity because in October of 2019, I said, okay, I'm sick and tired of working for somebody else. I really want to have my own business. So I paid more money than was even mentally feasible for myself at the time. I paid like $10,000 for a business coach, and I didn't even know what I didn't know. And then we worked together from like October to February 2020. And I kept thinking to myself, gosh, if only I had the time to work on my business and I didn't have to go to work every day. Well, then the lockdown happened.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, wow, okay, I asked for time. Here's time. So I truly believe that you need to do the job that you want to be paid for before you get paid for it. So I started showing up every day, and I made like 40 of the, now looking back, cringiest YouTube videos on like personal development and calendar blocking and just life stuff. And actually went and looked at them the other day, and they're so cringy, but they're so,
Look how far, girl.
look how far we've come. So at the same time, my father, who's a career CMO in tech, he had started a company doing LinkedIn consulting for top CEOs in Silicon Valley. But when COVID happened, all of his executive friends were like, Richard, you need to do this. So he started training sales teams in Silicon Valley because they had just boatloads of money because, right, you have a budget for the year. If you don't use it, you don't get it the next year. So all these companies had budget that they needed to get rid of that had been previously allocated for events. Well, now we can't do events. It's COVID. So they gave us it was like printing money, hundreds of thousands of dollars to do this LinkedIn training. But my poor father was like, God, I'm so overwhelmed. This is so much work. I wish I could clone myself. And my stepmom was like, you did. Have you seen Lia's videos? You need to reach out to her. And so on like a random day in March, he was like, hey, do you want to come work for me? I have no idea how this is going to go. I have no idea what I'm going to pay you. I have no idea how this is going to be. And for a year, I got to put the reps in, put in the reps.
Yeah.
It was like between 5 and 10 90-minute trainings per week. And after every single training, we would have a debrief, and I would just get absolutely dressed down. Like, you're using this word too many times. You've got these filler words. This is your presence is. And so a year of hundreds and hundreds of hours of reps with a coach who was my dad, but a world-class, world-famous keynote speaker. And then after a couple of years, it made a lot of sense for us to not work together anymore. The business, he wanted to go one way. I was looking at doing other things. It was that like, fly, little birdie, leave the nest kind of moment. So we work with one of the largest independent LinkedIn algorithm research reports. I stay up to date on it. I pivoted to a different industry. So he works with tech. I work a lot with financial services, tech, and legal.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just woke up one day and was like, I guess I own my own business now. And so I heard this quote once that was like, if you have no money, you should have no shame. And so I reached out to every single contact I'd made over those 3 years and was like, hey, I'm doing my own thing. I'm looking to get a keynote. Can I come speak at your conference? I'll do it for free. And just put myself out there. one great opportunity turned into 3 great opportunities, which turned into 12 great opportunities. And it's all just snowballed from there.
And here we are. You know what I love that too? I'm a big note taker, by the way, because I love learning when I talk to people. One of the things I loved, and you and I, it's so interesting listening to your story from this perspective, because it's something you and I haven't really talked about at all yet. New friends. Because when we get together, we like dive in like right away to what we're supposed to be on. But I will say this, like, I did the same thing in my business. And I love that you said COVID hit and I saw it as an opportunity in 2020. I did the same exact thing in my business. I was like, okay, cool. I have to shift. It's just a new circumstance, and just shift. And everybody in life listening, when a circumstance comes your way that doesn't feel like you can actually have an edge or move forward, you can if you step back and look, where's the golden opportunity to advance here? We had our best month in sales that month in 4 years. So we did the same exact thing. We just got creative. And it sounds like you did the exact thing. And then the second similarity we have, which is super cool, is, okay, you're a daughter of an entrepreneur of sorts in the LinkedIn world. My kids are, second generation entrepreneurs, because I was the first. And one day, happened January 2026. It was, fly little birdie, you've got this.
Yeah.
They hit $1.4 million in sales this year, their very first year as, their very first entrepreneurs, which is super cool. So I know your dad has to be super proud of you. And as your client and somebody that gets to work with you, you're fantastic. So great job putting in the reps, because putting in the reps matters so much. And I love that. And something else, here's another similarity you and I had. When I started selling, let's just say at vacuum cleaners, when I was a school teacher trying to just because school teachers don't really get paid yet a lot. If you have, I had to have a part-time job, because guess what, girl? I was also a single mom. That's a similarity there. Isn't it cool how like our stories are painted? Like they're so parallel with each other. We just ran different businesses as entrepreneurs.
Yes. And I think one of the best parts about that is I had a friend. So I've worked with this woman for, she brings me in every company she's ever worked at and has me come and train her sales teams. But this year she reached out and she's like, I'm so inspired by you. I'm going to start my entrepreneurial journey. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I've looked up to this woman professionally for so many years.
Yeah.
And it cemented something that I truly believe, which is you have to see somebody else doing something that you feel self-conscious about before you have the bravery to do it yourself.
Absolutely.
And so single moms out there, you can do it.
Listen, I started selling vacuum cleaners. You want to hear something crazy? The teachers in the building, the principal is like, oh, she's leaving teaching to go sell vacuum cleaners. Well, what they didn't know is I was making more on commission selling vacuums on the weekend than I was all month, 1 week in a month, than I was all month teaching, all month. And then, my company grew to $50 million in sales, gross revenue. So okay, yes, I would rather do that. Thank you. And that's just a powerful statement I wanna say before we jumped into the LinkedIn is the entrepreneurship is huge. And I like this because it also does thread into LinkedIn, be as an entrepreneur, whether you are just starting. I should have started my LinkedIn when I was selling vacuums on someone's carpet, at the very beginning, 25 years ago. Where would I have been now? I mean, it would be endless, and there is no shame. And it came from vacuum cleaners. And the other thing is I acted like I was the president of my own little company with my own little team of 3 and going out there and doing it and qualifying for things and doing what I had to do. So I think that there were so many powerful things that you said. And you and I even talked about this. You're like, I don't really want to spend much time on my intro. I was like, are you kidding me? That is a story for not just women, but so many people that are like, should I try? Yes.
Yes. You should try.
Okay. I love that. Okay. Getting back into LinkedIn. So this is really cute. Okay. So like for me, and I think I've shared a little bit about this, but I had made a couple of notes. I was like, I was like, okay, what were my untruths about LinkedIn? Okay, you're looking for a job. Like, oh, I'm not looking for a job. I love my job. Don't need to be on there. You have to sound so corporate and so polished and so professional to even be taken seriously. Not the case. If you've ever looked at the feed, no, these are actually real people with real voices and real stories and things to say. You needed thousands of connections to be anybody. Like it seems so overwhelming and it seems so much work. So my question for you is this: when someone says LinkedIn, what do you think most people get completely wrong, like out of the gate? Because those are the things, guys listening in, I got wrong. And I've just shared a few of them with you.
Yes. I think that's a job app. Like that's a big one. People think, oh, LinkedIn is for when you're looking for a job or for job announcements or whatever. Wildly untrue. It
Mhm.
is a function of LinkedIn, but it's one of, I would say, 6 functions. So definitely not the primary method for use. When I work with executives specifically, the 3 main things are like, I don't have anything to say. Which is so funny that you thought, oh, it's only the male CEOs who are, boomers that are going
Oh,
to be on
don't
LinkedIn.
forget to put old people.
Old executive men on LinkedIn, I have nothing to say because they come to me
Yeah.
and say, well, I have nothing to say. I
Wow.
have nothing to say. No one's going to care.
Mm.
And it's all wrapped into that. I don't need a job. I have nothing to say, and nobody's going to care about it.
Mm.
And that is, it's the other one that's come up recently. I've been training a lot of sales teams. And over the last year, one of the biggest words that has come out as why people are resistant to not being on LinkedIn is inauthentic. It just seems really inauthentic, right? I have to be polished. It just seems fake. I'm like, well, that's because all the people that you're looking at are doing it wrong.
Mm.
So there's a lot to get wrong on LinkedIn, which is why I have a job.
Which is why you have a job. I love
Mhm.
that. So, and you know what's funny is I fell into, well, I read you through like of my little list that I made. I fell into that's those same disbeliefs. So, um, I kind of know the answer because I sat in your workshop. But if you had to name one or a couple of myths, let's just call them, holding people back on LinkedIn, what do you think it would be? Like, why? I know why I was holding myself back, but
Mhm.
as you're strategizing with people, as you're holding workshops, as you're speaking on stages, like what are the voices from the crowd saying to you?
A couple of things. It depends on the function. So if someone is in, let's say, the C-suite. So if you're an executive and you are like, I don't have time. I don't know what to say. I'm just going to leave that up to the marketing team.
Mm-hmm.
As the marketing team, you're like, well, that's just for the company page. Like I'll manage the company page on LinkedIn. I don't need to worry about my own LinkedIn. Like that doesn't matter. I just have a job. And if you're in sales, you think it's very much this idea of like churn and burn. Like, let me see how many connections I can make and how many messages I can send to try to book more calls, which is atrocious and a horrible way to approach it. Most people think of LinkedIn, if we were to summarize it, as social media. They're posting, I got a new job. I spoke at a conference. I attended an event. And they're announcing things on the platform. The biggest mindset shift you have to make on LinkedIn is it's not social media, it's a networking platform. And I said this to you, Vicky. This is where it's like I'm not very gentle
No, I
because
was gonna say I was literally writing, calling myself out. Like when I emailed you, I said, "Oh, put this on my LinkedIn." You're like, "So what?" Like,
yes, and that's the thing because if you were to post on LinkedIn like you would on Instagram or Facebook, you're going to fail spectacularly
oh,
because LinkedIn, it's not about announcing something. It is a digital version of an in-person networking event. And if you were to walk into a networking event, stand on a little stool with your megaphone and be like, I attended an event. Nobody gives a shit. Nobody cares.
got it.
I am a coach and I help people. We hear so often the like, you have to know your I help statement. If you were to walk into a networking space and be like, and just start spouting your I help statement, I help entrepreneurs who are stuck and are looking for a mindset shift when it comes to their personal. Cool. Who cares?
I
Who
love
cares?
that visual. Do you know that that's probably You have to add that into your workshops. Like, I think that this is where I get to advise you too, because I do a little bit of advising for Lia as well. Girl, your next talk, you need to bring a step stool and stand on it and be like, this is the wrong way.
Yes.
I love that. I have a question for you, because I need you to tell me more about this for somebody that's not as educated. And some of our listeners they don't even have a profile yet. They're thinking about it, but maybe not. C-suite, what does that mean to the everyday people?
So C-suite is anybody in an executive. So the C, like chief executive officer, chief marketing officer, chief product officer, chief technology officer, anybody who's in the leadership of an organization.
Okay, so you know what I do. I'm the CEO of my own company. Am I C-suite?
Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect. And I don't pull that out, because people that are running their own businesses, you're like, oh, I own my own business. You are an executive. You are the president of your company. And when you start running it that way and utilizing platforms like this, you'll be like, why am I doing so good?
Yes.
Yes.
Because it's so interesting, because there's really two types of, we'll call it the way to show up as an executive on LinkedIn. Perfect. If you own your own business, you are in fact an executive. Whether you're the president, the founder, the owner, the CEO, sometimes it feels a little weird to be like a business of one and call yourself the CEO. Yeah. But that's still what you are. And the way that you have to think about showing up is there's two types. You're either like me and you. Our businesses depend solely on us as the individual. I'm selling myself. I'm selling the knowledge in my head about LinkedIn that's going to make you better at your job.
Right.
But if I were to be taken out of the equation, there's not really a business. And so you, as the expert at that point, have to show up on LinkedIn with a lot of authority. The other type, and I do work with a lot of executives who, if they retired or if they sold their business, the business would still exist. They don't need the personality, the individual, to be behind the product, right? They're selling shipping containers. They're selling vacuum cleaners. They're selling whatever it might be. Right. Their personality doesn't need to be there. They still need to show up as the leader and the expert. You have to be right, because if you're the executive, if you're the leader of an organization, whether it's 3 people or 300 people, a lot of the information that comes out about the organization should actually come out from you, not the company page. You, even if your organization doesn't depend on the personality of you for the product, you are still leading and driving your organization. When I gave that presentation in California, we talked about up to 40% of an organization's valuation is determined on the executive and the owner's like online brand. Wow. And so you're really going to leave 40% of your business worth on the table because you just don't want to get on LinkedIn.
Wow. That's powerful.
That's crazy.
That is crazy. That is crazy. I absolutely love this for our everyday entrepreneurs that are just starting out, when it is just you or just you and a few employees. If you showed up as the president of your company every day, how would you run that differently than thinking, I mean, it's just me? Different mindsets will actually perform at different levels. Meaning if I think I'm and it's shoulders down, I'm just a this, you will have ineffective behaviors every day to grow your company. Whereas you're like a little prouder, shoulders back, I'm the president of my company. Show up that way, not just digitally, but also in presence.
Yes.
But in both places, super powerful tool, super powerful. And I also loved that, just a reminder to everybody listening, you are a leader and you are the expert, and it is your diligence to utilize these types of platforms and tell people about it with meaningful by the way, and that's one of the things I really appreciate about you is when you do post, you want meaningful. And now I'll never get that visual out of my head. Like I'm gonna walk into a room standing on the step stool with my megaphone. Thank you for that. But that it's huge. It matters so much because and as I mentioned, is that a lot of people do feel like they have to spend more corporate, or they feel they have to be that corporate polished. And no, what do you say to someone who is afraid to show their real voice?
So I have a whole keynote that you haven't seen about personal branding.
Okay.
And the way that I describe it is, instead of owning your lane, so many of us, right? If Vicky said, I just sell vacuums and that's my lane and I'm going to stay in it, I'm only going to talk about vacuums and I'm only going to show up for vacuums and I'm only going to do this, you limit the things that make you the most unique. Mm-hmm. In this mastermind that we were at, we also had someone talk about figuring out how you're the only one in the world. And there's a book by Seth Godin called The Dip that talks about this concept as well, which is you are the best in the world. You just have to redefine what the world means and being able to find the intersection. For example, I was talking with a gentleman. He is the head of legal operations for a small tech company. He's also a classically trained bassoonist. Random. Okay. Do those things like make sense together at all? No. But he can show up on LinkedIn and talk about operationalizing legal process as it relates to conducting a symphony, or learning music and math and operations and skills. And right, he can post a photo of him playing the bassoon. That's interesting. It's unique. It gets people talking. It's a differentiator. I've got multiple intersections. I've got a whole highway juncture that I try to own. And it's that understanding that the unique and strange or unconventional background that you might have makes you better at your job. You just have to figure out how to tell that story.
I like that.
Being a single mom, that's something. Now, on LinkedIn, I highly recommend staying away from the like heartstring pulling type of stuff. It has to be valuable. The content that you put out must illustrate, if I was going to write this down, it would be, you have to say who you're talking to, what value you're providing them, and why they should care about it. All these posts that are like the broetry, they call them. I just proposed to my girlfriend and here's what it taught me about B2B sales. Like, terrible. What? Sir, you have tried too hard.
I really love those 3 tips. I think that's me. I mean, I'm a social butterfly. So I just want to tell everybody everything. I'm like, if this one thing could change their life, I need to give a nugget, right? That's great for what I'm hearing. That's great for Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn. It's just different. In a great way, by the way, in a great way. So let's just talk about a little bit of the differences. So, because in general, people obsess over followers, over connections. Like, oh my gosh, I got another follower today. From your perspective, like, what does that actually matter to you as the strategic LinkedIn expert?
So the metrics.
And do I really care about the number of followers, like I do on Facebook or Instagram? Is that important to me?
Not really. So
okay, that's
this it's very complex. So LinkedIn not only has a completely different algorithm than Facebook and Instagram, it also has an AI layer that adds complexity to it. So the first thing to understand is that Instagram, for example, they make, as an organization, right? Meta makes money when we pay for ads. But we're not paying for ads. I love the saying, if it's free, you are the product. Instagram sells our attention spans to brands to get them to purchase ad space. And so the more entertaining you can be, the more they like it because it keeps people on the platform being shown ads. LinkedIn doesn't make money from ads. A little bit, 20%. 20% though. 80% of their revenue comes from subscriptions, organizations that are paying for Sales Navigator, Recruiter, premium access. So this is a paid service, and LinkedIn wants to protect the user experience for people who are paying to access their platform because like, would you pay to be on Facebook? No, God, no, no. But people pay to be on LinkedIn. And so their algorithms are really different. So it's not about followers because when you make a post on LinkedIn, that post doesn't go to all your followers. It goes to like maybe 10% of your followers.
No way.
So yes, I would say having more than 500 is going to be important.
Okay.
But like after that, if you hit 10,000 followers, LinkedIn starts to suppress your ability to reach a larger audience. So between 500 and 10,000 is a great place to be because LinkedIn doesn't want influencers. It doesn't want people monopolizing the conversation because the goal of LinkedIn is to connect business professionals. If I get on LinkedIn and all I see is Gary Vee, Alex Hormozy, and a bunch of other influencers, I want to access my customer base. I don't care what the influencers are saying. And so it really wants to shift away from influencers. So having a ton of followers isn't great.
Okay.
But what does matter is, can you start a conversation? So the metrics that I track that I think are the most important, you make a post, how many comments did it generate? And how many impressions did it generate? There's generally a like 1 to 100 ratio. If you can get 10 comments, you'll get 1,000 views. That's a very loose kind of way to think about it.
Okay.
But with LinkedIn's AI and their goal to show you what you actually care about, not just stuff that your followers are posting, when you make a post, LinkedIn's AI reads your post and then it reads your profile to determine if you are even qualified to be talking about this topic.
Wow.
Then it will show that post to people you're not connected to who have recently interacted with posts that also are around that topic. So if you were to go and get on LinkedIn and search like AI and go and like and comment on 5 posts around AI, and then refresh and look at your home feed, it would show suggested posts about AI.
Interesting. Okay. And so impressions. Again, you might have some people listening today that they have no idea what even LinkedIn is. Like me before I met you. Care about it. What's an impression?
That's like a view.
Got it. Okay.
Impressions or views.
Perfect.
But it's LinkedIn is so backwards. LinkedIn is the upside down of social media. So if you post more than once a week, you're probably doing too much.
Okay.
It's quality over quantity. Once or twice a week, you're golden. But commenting is the secret sauce. You should be commenting 10 to 50 times more than you post.
Oh, okay. On the things okay, for me, let's use me as an example.
Okay.
Executive coach, speaker, and also in direct sales. What types of things should I be commenting on?
You should be commenting on people talking about direct sales strategy.
Okay.
You should be commenting on people talking about the impact of executive coaching.
Okay.
And you should be commenting on people announcing events that make sense for you. If someone's like, oh, hey, guess what? There's this conference for direct sales entrepreneurs. You should be commenting on that post being like, oh my gosh, this looks amazing. Tell me more.
Got it.
But commenting again is so different on LinkedIn
Mhm.
because let's use someone makes a post about um, direct sales strategy and team building.
Okay.
You've got a ton of expertise around this.
Right.
They've got a really nice post, goes into depth, some concepts that you're familiar with. Your comment should not be great post, thanks for sharing.
Ah.
Because not only are you talking to the author of the post with your comment, but that post and your comment will be shared in the feed to up to 30% of your followers.
So you should say something valuable.
Yes, you
Huh.
should say something thinking, again, let's use that in the room metaphor.
Yes.
So someone makes a post, they've started that conversation, they're talking to you. You listen, but you know there are people standing kind of in this group that you want to kind of plant the seed to them as well, not just the person you're conversing with. So you want to leave a comment that's like, Daniel, this is so fascinating. I love how you talked about the importance of this strategy and how it relates to building teams. As I've been able to build X number of teams over my career, I have found that the single most impactful decision was this. And this is really, in addition to the points you've laid out, what I would add as the best way to build a direct sales team.
Be in the
Now, yeah,
conversating, like an actual real conversation, as if you were sitting in the circle and trying to also let everybody else know, hey, I want to also share a little bit about me too.
yes, yes. It's not hijacking the post,
Right.
but just like you would in person, you
Yeah.
kind of repeat back what they said and then add something to the conversation.
That's perfect. I love the way you put that. I think that that'll be so helpful because there is a way that posting also can feel like super awkward or salesy,
Mhm.
I guess, for a lot of people. So I feel like that piece of advice kind of broke a myth there also.
Yes.
What you've said about what you should post, why you should post, the 3 tips that you gave, it doesn't feel salesy at all.
No.
And the consistency, you don't have to do this every day. You don't have to do this 3 times a day. The once a week is powerful enough.
Mhm.
Is that enough to actually build credibility? I'm just super curious.
For posting, so the way
Yeah.
that I think about your activity on LinkedIn is like building a mosaic of your personal brand.
Okay.
Every post and every comment is a tiny little tile that builds that overall brand image. One misstep, one kind of off brand post isn't going to ruin the image. But it's consistency over time. It's predictable, persistent presence.
That's
Can you
great.
show up in a way that your audience can begin to predict and anticipate? Because you're training your audience to know what value you're giving. You're also training the AI to know what rooms you should be in, where your conversation should go.
Okay. So you can
And so
almost think as like they're guiding you. Like there's a person in the hallway and you're in a conference center and there's all these little rooms. And based on your post, they're like, oh, you need to be in room 3. You need to be in room 5. And we're going to put you there because that is
yes.
where you're to be heard. That is where your expertise can be found.
Yes, but it's not just your one post that gets you into that room. It's
Oh.
the consistency. So this guide walking you through this hallway has a clipboard that has your LinkedIn profile on it, your
Mhm.
LinkedIn about section, your experience section,
Mhm.
all of the comments that you've left, all of the posts that you've done, and is like, based on all of this data, you need to be in this room.
Yeah.
If you showed up, if I were to change my mind and decide I was like, I'm going to be a fashion influencer,
Mhm.
it would take a significant amount of time and effort to retrain my brand because people know me as the lovely of LinkedIn. People, that's who I am. And if I wanted to all of a sudden make a change, I can't just show up one day and be like, right, new year, rebrand, new me, like we all love to do. It's that I would have to show up every single day, commenting on fashion posts, creating content around fashion. And I would have to slowly start to change the way that people saw my brand. And so for people who are looking to take that entrepreneurial leap, the best time to start was a year ago. The second best time is right now.
Yes. Yes.
Because
And to your point, if you wanted to rebrand yourself today, you could do that the way that you said. Oh, new me, new this. Just don't do it on LinkedIn. Do that on Instagram. Do that on TikTok. Do that on Facebook. Those are the platforms to be touching that audience, in another word. So for today, like if someone walked away today and changed just one mindset, just one about LinkedIn, like I've changed so much in just this little bit of time, what would you want that to be? Just one.
That's a great question. I would say you need to think about LinkedIn like this. Every single person who has the money to buy the product or service that you're selling has a LinkedIn account.
Ooh, that's a great way to look at it. Love that. I think that's perfect. And then I would also say, who do you really think benefits the most from using LinkedIn intentionally, the way that we've just been talking about for the last half hour or so? And who's like sleeping on opportunity, just waiting for them?
I think I'll be honest. I think business to consumer is a lot harder on LinkedIn.
Okay.
But I also work with a ton of wealth advisors who are looking for business to consumer clients, and they're killing it on LinkedIn. I think people that are sleeping on LinkedIn are, I would say, the young millennials who are starting early in their career that don't understand the importance of building a brand today and how it's going to impact their career. I remember I just got jobs. But I didn't map a career. And working with a coach, getting a 5-year plan, mapping a career path is going to help you start today building the foundation for having a more successful career even more quickly than you could.
Right. And I was just thinking, my kids, okay, millennials, you have to listen to this today. And not only just listen, but the biggest thing also is if in the past it felt like, oh, I don't belong there, or it felt confusing or frustrating or inconsistent, I think that there's some things that you can stop doing and start doing. And I think that you've already addressed some of those as far as the 3 tips that you gave, and making sure that we're posting. It can be once a week. Don't be so consumed by the followers. Make sure you're commenting, but you're actually adding value, and literally visually put yourself in the room as if you're actually to people, real humans, and how you would really connect if you were in that room with them, and how can you add value to the conversation. People walk away going, I really want to know more about them and their business and what they can offer me, because at the end of the day, that is called a connection. We want to connect, and in that experience of the connection, we do want to add value to each other, and we keep coming back for more, like Lia and I do, right?
Yes. Which wraps it all up nicely for the single most impactful metric on LinkedIn, which is profile views. It doesn't okay, you've got views on your posts. Cool. You should be tracking your profile views so closely, because that's how you know that you are creating value. When people see your comments, they see your posts, and they find it so valuable that they go and look at your profile, that's how you know you're winning on LinkedIn.
It's so cute you said that. 16 minutes ago, I have a little alert on my phone, because my phone's sitting right here to keep time, and it says, 1 person visited your profile. And I'm like, I just said that's a good tech win.
Winning.
And then, when we talk on Saturday, you'll help me with that. I'll be like, okay, now what do I do with this view?
You get lots of views.
I know. But you know what? I don't pay attention to them because I didn't know the value of them. And that is what today is about. I want people to know there's so much value that we're just leaving on the table, and we're just not, we're not picking it up. It's like we're just saying, oh, this is my beautiful coaster. Oh, look at this cool gift. It's so pretty. I think I'll put it over there and leave it. No, you need to be like, oh my gosh, what can I do with this? What's next? How can I get this to grow? How can I get more connected? How can I add value? How can someone add value to me? Like it's just you're looking at this through this just this whole new lens, which is pretty exciting. Yeah. So obviously people can hire you. That's one of the options to learn a lot more. Yeah. And for your at any level, by the way, that you're in, which is super cool. Mm-hmm. But I want to start too, like, where can listeners go to learn more about what you think, the work that you do, how they can actually start today? Because one of the things you said, okay, if you didn't start last year, cool, start right now. Like that'd be a great start. I know that you have something coming up on Friday that I'm super excited about.
Yes. So I have a newsletter on LinkedIn. So step one, get a LinkedIn profile. You don't have to fill it out, but just come find me and subscribe to my newsletter. It's only on LinkedIn and it outlines all of these things. It'll give you so many action items. You walk away with a checklist every 2 weeks. So that's a great place to start. Okay. But this Friday, so it's so funny. Vicky was like, let's do a webinar. And I said, okay, coach, put me in. I'm ready.
Now, when she said this is her webinar that I'm helping her with her business plan for this year.
Yes. So I said, okay, I'm going to do a webinar. We're going to cap it at 100 people. And it sold out in 1 day.
I'm so proud of you.
So the next one.
Did you hear me?
That you're so proud of me?
I'm so proud of you.
Hey, thanks. I'm not supposed to flip my hair when I get compliments, but I can't help it.
We've been working on this.
My coach told me it's not good.
Coach, AKA Vicky.
AKA Vicky said, don't flip your hair when you receive a compliment.
I love it. I mean, it's going on me.
But yes, I am also so proud of me. It was one of those like, oh, this is worth it.
You just said, girl.
What?
I'm also so proud of me.
I'm also so proud of me. Yes.
That is good work.
Thank you. Additionally, though, because it was so successful and I was thrilled and surprised and proud, I said, okay, we got to open this up. So if you go to my LinkedIn, you can get signed up for a free LinkedIn webinar on the 16th. That's Friday, January 16th. It's at 2 p.m. Mountain time, because that's what time I am, 4 p.m. Eastern. I had to think about it for a second. What time is it? I don't know. So come hang out. It's an AMA. You'll get an email that'll allow you to ask questions ahead of time if you do have questions you want me to address. But we'll talk about really in depth how LinkedIn's AI algorithm has changed the way that LinkedIn is operating and what you have to do about it.
Nice. And it doesn't stop there. This isn't just a one session. You're going to have continuing education after this on a monthly basis, a weekly basis. How does that work?
So I'm doing 6 1-hour sessions every 2 weeks for 12 weeks. So like the 9th, there's the extra on the 16th, and then every 2 weeks.
Right.
And it will build on each other. You want to come and learn how to get your profile set up? I've got that for you. You want to learn how to,
because she had a lot to say about mine. And
yeah.
Oh yes, you need to, because there's things, again, you think you're doing it right. And then you can ask questions like, well, why is this wrong? And then when she teaches you, it makes so much sense. You're like, oh, wow, I didn't even see that. So that is going to be a fantastic one. Yes.
So lots, 6, essentially I've taken my 3-hour presentation and stretched it out over these 6 sessions.
Perfect. And I know that 3 hours was extremely valuable to me. So I'm looking forward to the 6 sessions and everything else. And be sure you also get on her website if you want some more information from her, because she has a plethora out there. And it doesn't even just stop with LinkedIn, to be honest with you. She's fantastic at coaching. She's fantastic at speaking at events. She will captivate you and you will learn a lot. And she's kind of like a one-stop shop, like me.
Kind of like a one-stop shop.
That's why we get along so well.
Yes. Yes. I love it.
So nice having you today. And I took 2 pages of notes because I got reminded of the things that mattered. And you and I were on the phone yesterday, and I even made a promise. I said, you know what I'm going to start doing? I need to spend some time on LinkedIn every day myself, be a good student of her teacher, and start commenting. And now that you gave me that visual for me today, if you want to know what I learned the most, I'll never forget standing on a little pedestal with the megaphone and why that matters. And also being in actual room. I'm thinking so virtually, and I shouldn't be thinking. This is personal, and people want to have connection. And that is one of my things in 2026 for me personally, guys, is I want to bring more connection. So anytime I decide to be in the room of a mastermind or at an event or teach, or even in this podcast today, it's how can I create more connection? Is this event creating connection or disconnection? Is this conversation with my daughter connection or disconnection? My family events, my business meetings. And that's what I would encourage you guys, because this is about being connected, right? On LinkedIn, is how can you create more connection with yourself in 2026, with others, Lia and I's new friendship, and with the world. And that's what I encourage you to do. Thank you so much for being here today, Lia. I appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.
And I can't wait to see you this weekend, because I'm coming to Salt Lake City.
I know. I have it in my calendar, party with Vicky.
I saw it from 2 to 8 on Friday or Saturday. All right, girl. Thank you for everything. You're amazing.
Thank you. See you later.
See ya.